Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. The last update about Twist of Fate. Pallavi planned to throw Rhea out of the house after remembering that Rhea's baby will bring bad luck to the house and Prachi's baby will bring good luck. So Pallavi wanted Prachi to stay in the house instead of Rhea. Then Ranbir disgraced Rhea and tells her that he doesn't love her and he only loves Prachi. Let's continue. After Ranbir rejects Rhea and disgraces her, Rhea asks that what can she do with her pregnancy and says such baby should die before birth because the baby's father doesn't even care for the baby's mother. Rhea says she wants to kill this unborn child. I swear I will kill Ranbir's unborn baby. Shaina asks Rhea that how can you do this to yourself? Aliyah stops Rhea and asks how will you do that as you are not pregnant? Rhea says only we knows that I am not pregnant, but others don't know and everyone thinks that I am pregnant with Ranbir's child. Rhea says that she faked to be pregnant and she continued with her drama so that Prachi can leave the house. Rhea says Prachi was leaving the house, but Ranbir is stopping her. Rhea says when I said that when Prachi will leave, then Ranbir asked to stay with me. Ranbir said that he will stop Prachi and he will stay with Prachi. Rhea says to Aliyah and Shaina that my fake pregnancy is wasted. Rhea says whenever Prachi tried to leave, someone or the other stops her. Rhea says this time Ranbir has stopped Prachi. Rhea asks if whatever she wants would happen or not. Aliyah asks Rhea to go and talk to Pallavi. Rhea says yes, you are right. I need to talk to Pallavi. Rhea says mom will say that Prachi has to leave and says we would have to have this discussion in the morning with my mother-in-law. Prachi wakes up and she sees Ranbir sitting on the floor and sleeping holding her hand. Prachi gets up from the bed. Ranbir wakes up and says hi, good morning. Prachi says good morning. Sorry, I shouldn't wake you up. Ranbir says I am fine. Prachi says you might be uncomfortable. Ranbir says he was uncomfortable. If he had slept beside Prachi, then Prachi would have been uncomfortable. Ranbir says to Prachi that he slept comfortably as Prachi's hand was in his hand and the best thing was Prachi's face and says he woke up seeing Prachi's face, so the day will be very good for him. Ranbir thanks Prachi for showing a beautiful face to him and Ranbir goes to freshen up. Shaina comes to Prachi and asks if she is awake. Prachi says I plan to do something, but I end up doing something else. Prachi says I feel that I should not go away from this house. Shaina is praying in the room. Aliyah asks why are you praying? Shaina says I am praying for Rhea and her victory. Aliyah says to Shaina that Rhea doesn't need prayer because Rhea is a smart girl and she knows how to do her work. Aliyah says Rhea must have knocked Pallavi's door by now. Rhea knocks on the door and gets inside. Rhea wishes good morning to Pallavi. Aliyah says to Shaina that when Rhea gets to Pallavi, then Rhea will first smile and then she will cry. Pallavi would hug Rhea to console her and Rhea will cry more. And it happens like Aliyah said it. Pallavi asks Rhea to tell her what happened. Aliyah says Rhea will ask Pallavi to ask Prachi to leave the house. Rhea says to Pallavi that she couldn't stop herself and every day she is in tension and she feels insecure. Rhea says she feels emptiness because if there is nobody for her, then why is she here? She says she is worried for her baby and says every mother should be happy, but I am not happy and I just cry. Rhea says to Pallavi that I am not happy from within. Rhea says sometimes I feel that why did I get pregnant? Aliyah says Pallavi will feel as if her daughter is crying as she treated Rhea as her daughter. Pallavi feels sorry for Rhea and says you shouldn't have to go through all this and she asks her to learn to be happy. Rhea asks Pallavi that will you give me whatever I ask for? Pallavi asks her to say it. Rhea asks Pallavi to ask Prachi to leave from the house and says if Prachi goes, then I will be normal. Rhea asks will you say that Prachi should leave? Pallavi says I would ask Prachi to go from this house. Rhea asks Pallavi and thanks her. Rhea says to Pallavi that now I will be happy and stress-free. I can take care of my baby well. Pallavi says but for that, you have to trust me and do something for me. Pallavi asks will you do what I ask you to do? Pallavi says I would ask Prachi to go from here, but that will be after 9 months. But for that, you have to give divorce to Ranbir. Rhea is taken aback and shocked. Rhea leaves from there. Pallavi goes behind Rhea. Prachi says to Shaina that I thought that I am thinking right, but I was wrong. Prachi says she is selfish and she was thinking to sacrifice her happiness for her sister. Prachi says I am doing this for myself, which is wrong. Shaina says I am feeling something else, or you couldn't tell me. Prachi says to Shahana that Ranbir is a good husband and he will be a good father. I am doing wrong with him, and says I love Ranbir. Ranbir comes there and hears Prachi happily. Ranbir kisses on Prachi's cheeks. Prachi asks, why did you kiss me? Ranbir says, I can kiss you, I am your husband. Prachi says this is wrong. Ranbir says, I will kiss you from the front. Prachi says to Ranbir that kissing is wrong. Shahana says yes. Ranbir says she is my wife and I love her and she loves me too. Prachi says you cannot kiss me as we are not normal couple. Ranbir says we are extraordinary couple. Aryan comes there and hears them. Prachi says to Ranbir that kissing is wrong and she asks Shahana to talk. Shahana says it is wrong. Aryan asks, what type of a girl are you? And says it is a gesture and says people kiss even a baby. Shahana asks Aryan not to say anything. Aryan says nobody becomes a baby if they kissed. Aryan kisses on Shahana's cheeks. Shahana runs behind him to beat him. Prachi goes behind them. Ranbir says she has a problem, how to express my love to her. Ranbir gets happy with the thought that Prachi loves him. Pallavi asks Rhea not to dare walk away when she is talking to her. She says, I am your mother-in-law and not your sister. She says, I don't like your attitude. Rhea says to Pallavi that you are ignoring me in a royal way. I don't know what happened. I am not important for you anymore. Prachi is now everything for you. Rhea tells Pallavi that even she will give birth to a normal child and says Prachi will not give birth to God. Pallavi asks Rhea not to dare talk to her like that. Rhea says I had given you mother's place and says you are asking me to divorce Ranbir. Rhea says you are snatching Ranbir from the baby. Pallavi says that she wants Rhea to leave the house so that Prachi can stay in the house with Ranbir. Pallavi says she has done all this planning. Vikram and Grandma comes there and asks that what is Pallavi planning. Pallavi says nothing. Vikram asks Pallavi to say it. Pallavi says I was thinking to take Prachi and Rhea to the mall to buy maternity stuff. Rhea thinks that Pallavi is double-crossing her and she goes from there angrily. Grandma asks why is Rhea upset. Pallavi says Rhea is a child. She is insisting to go now. I will talk to her. Grandma tells Vikram that Pallavi is saying something else. Vikram also feels the same. Prachi and Rhea collide with each other. Rhea recalls Ranbir and her argument. Rhea asks Prachi, how can you take out enmity calling me your sister? Prachi says I did not do anything. Whatever you are saying is wrong. Rhea says you have snatched my husband from me. Prachi says your husband? Ranbir was always mine. Rhea says to Prachi that you know well that Ranbir loves me. Prachi says Ranbir never told this to you and I haven't thought about this. Prachi says Ranbir says that he loves me, so nobody can raise questions on my marriage and relationship. Rhea says I can raise questions on your intention and says you had told me that you will leave from this house, but now you are accepting that you and Ranbir are a couple. Prachi recalls telling Shahana that she would leave the house and how she changed her mind after seeing that Ranbir really loves her. Prachi says to Rhea that when I came here, the women of the NGO were with me. I proved that I am his legal wife. And Prachi reminds Rhea that Ranbir had filled the vermilion on her forehead in front of everyone in the police station. Rhea says to Prachi that mommy lied and she got the vermilion filled in your forehead. Prachi says the only lie was your marriage with Ranbir, which was done by blackmailing everyone. Rhea tells Prachi that the lie will not be the truth and says that day the family lied to save themselves and they got the vermilion filled in Prachi's forehead and it was all lies. Prachi says to Rhea that your marriage was a lie because you had blackmailed everyone and you threatened them and says that is why the family made Ranbir sit at the wedding altar to save themselves. Rhea asks, who told you this? Is it Ranbir? And says if it is Ranbir, then Ranbir is lying. Prachi says to Rhea that Ranbir is my husband and I know his truth and lie better than you. Shahina comes there and taunts Prachi, calling her as the second wife. Prachi asks Shahina not to interfere. Shahina also comes there and asks Prachi to take care of herself because she is pregnant and says she is here to give reply to Rhea. Rhea asks Shahina to mind her language. Shahina asks Rhea to ask Shahina to mind her language, else she will be dealt with. Aliyah comes there and calls Rhea. Rhea says I will see you later and she goes with Aliyah. Prachi tells Shahina that she is going to Grandma to give her medicine. Aliyah asks Rhea not to fight with anyone. Shahina says I don't fight. She then fights with Shahina. They hold each other's hair. Aliyah asks Rhea what had happened. Rhea tells Aliyah everything. Aliyah asks if Pallavi said this. Rhea nods her head. Aliyah says Pallavi should give reply to me. If I get the answer suitable to me, then the house will be peaceful. Else they will see my search avatar, which they haven't seen before. Aryan sees Shaina and Shahana's cat and rat fight. Shahana asks, how dare you to call Prachi as his second wife? Aryan cheers for them and takes their video as they are fighting. Millie comes there and asks them not to fight. Ranbir comes there and he asks them not to fight. He shouted, asking them to stop it. Ranbir asks that who has started the fight. Shahana says Shaina started it first. Ranbir says nobody will fight now. Ranbir asks them to calm down and say sorry to each other. They refuse to say sorry and they go. Ranbir asks Aryan if he was making their video. Aryan says no, he was on a call. Millie says Aryan is mad. Aliyah comes to Pallavi's room. Pallavi asks Aliyah to come inside and she locks the door. Aliyah asks Pallavi that who is she and what does she want. Aliyah says that Pallavi doesn't want others to see her good, bad and ugly side. Aliyah threatens Pallavi and says that she is Aliyah Purabkana and she loves two people a lot. One is her brother and the other is Rhea, and says Rhea is the old word for her. Aliyah says to Pallavi that she is angry with her because she is fooling her. Pallavi says I said this because Aliyah says she is not in coma like her brother. Grandma comes there and hears them from outside. Pallavi says I heard everything as you are my friend, else I would never tolerate that. Pallavi asks Aliyah to listen carefully and never interrupt her. She says, I thought Rhea is impatient, but seeing you, it seems that all of you in your family have this problem except Prachi. Pallavi says, I asked Rhea to divorce Ranbir, but she reacted before understanding. Pallavi says to Aliyah that I asked Rhea to divorce Ranbir so that Prachi can stay here, else Prachi would leave and I don't want that. Grandma hears them and she gets happy. Grandma hopes that Rhea and Ranbir's divorce should happen soon. Aryan asks Ranbir why did he stop the cat and rat fight. Ranbir says girls get more aggressive. Aryan says to Ranbir that it is fun to hear the girls fight as there will be variety of bad words. Aryan says there is no variety in guys fight. Ranbir says it is wrong to see the girls fighting in our house. Aryan says we should know the reason so that we can choose the fighter. Ranbir tells Aryan that Shaina and Shahana are fighting for Rhea and Prachi. Ranbir says Rhea troubles Prachi so much. Prachi hears that and goes to talk to Shahana. Ranbir says I don't know what would happen now. Aryan says I would go and see the fight. Ranbir stops him and asks him to fight with him. They falls on the bed. Ranbir gets up and says Shahana. Aliyah asks Pallavi that how dare you to ask Rhea to divorce Ranbir. Pallavi says don't cut my words. I permitted you to stay here, so don't question my decision. Pallavi says she is doing this for Rhea's betterment. Grandma hears their conversation standing outside. Pallavi realizes that Grandma is listening to their conversation and she opens the door, but Grandma goes away from there. Pallavi says to Aliyah that I got the divorce papers ready and the divorce will be done in a fast-track court. Rhea comes there and says I will not divorce Ranbir. Aliyah tells Pallavi that she will not let Rhea accept the divorce plan. Rhea says she will not let the papers come. Pallavi asks them to shut up and says the papers are ready and the case will go on a fast-track court. Pallavi says we will make sure that the judge will find flaw in the papers and says in short, we will try to take fake divorce which will look real. Pallavi says that the day of the actual divorce will be far away and we will never take the divorce at the end of the day, but by then, Prachi would have enough confidence in me and she would think that I am fighting for her. Pallavi says we have to make Prachi believe and I don't want her to be stressed until she gives birth to the baby. Pallavi says to Aliyah and Rhea that once Prachi delivers her baby, then I will kick Prachi out of the house. Pallavi says I don't care if I fall in anyone's sight and says what matters to her is her happiness, which lies in Ranbir's first child. Okay, so will Pallavi be able to convince Rhea to divorce Ranbir? That will be in the next update coming up tomorrow. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like this video and share it. And I'll see you guys again in the next update tomorrow. Thank you.